Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and on today's show, we've got a double header coming at you. Two separate brands. Can you say brands? One's a brand.
One's a brand, both of us with the slab hats on.
Yes.
We both picked the same slab hat.
Merch. I can't believe we both picked the same colour. I swear we had a conversation about not having the same colour.
It's all the cool kids wear the orange ones anyway. So yeah, on this episode we have Wave Project Scotland and Slab Surf.
Yeah. And this was recorded, the first one we done. So I think let's jump straight into it, and we can talk more about the ins and outs of how it happened afterwards, because it was a long day.
It was. Here we go.
So I'm Rory. I run the Wave Project up here in St Andrews, and also run Slab with my brother James.
Yeah, and I'm James. Started Slab with Rue, still the only two employees. But yeah, so we started Slab, and yeah.
Paying yourselves handsomely.
we wish.
Yeah. So I guess where do we start? Do we start with Wave Project or do we start with Slab?
How do you two meet each other?
how long have you known each other?
Yeah. Quite a while.
Who's the oldest, actually?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest,
yeah,
by?
I don't. 2.5, 3 years.
Right, okay.
So,
Is he the mature one as well?
No.
It's always the other way around, isn't it? So what you think?
Basically, I taught Rue everything that he suddenly got better at me then. So playing the guitar, surfing. So yeah, that's how it's ended up really.
Yeah.
So I suppose start the start. When did you guys start? Did you grow up around here? And when did you start surfing?
We both grew up in Edinburgh. Started surfing down in Cornwall actually. But it was mainly just like bodyboarding as kids. We used to go there on holiday.
Yeah,
so
okay.
We didn't really get into surfing until we were kind of like late teens, maybe like 18 type of time. We'd like spent time at the beach,
right.
messing around on bodyboards. But
okay.
Just kind of started going down the coast a bit more ourselves. And
I kind of committed myself to bodyboarding early on, and should have just spent that time surfing. No offense to the boogs. Still love booging, but just
you were good on the boog actually.
I always love that anytime anybody mentions a bodyboarder, there always is a line within there that says no offense to bodyboarders.
I mean, if it's a nice shore dub, going on the boog and just getting absolutely annihilated is absolutely class.
And what was the want to take up stand-up surfing?
I think just there was a shop in Edinburgh called Boardwise that I think burnt down now, actually does no longer exist. But after surfing down in Cornwall, and then our parents were like, oh, actually this is quite good if the kids like going in the water, because we can just sit at the bar on the beach and watch them and structure our holidays around this. So
that's proper parenting.
Yeah. You're like, this works quite well. Yeah, go in the sea for 3 hours and leave us alone. So so that's kind of, and then coming back to Edinburgh, eventually we were like, right, let's start do this in Edinburgh as well. Okay. Bought first board, still have it actually. It's been dinged so many times. Steve at St Vitus at Colium has repaired it more times than I can count. I feel like every time we go in, he's just like, I've repaired this board.
There's probably none of the original board left.
I know. Even now we're like, could try and sell it, but it's just, I don't know if anyone would. I feel guilty selling it. Like,
I think you'd be selling memories as well, though, especially if you had it so long. I don't think I could let.
That's what we're doing here. Let's just start a podcast. Let's start charging people and selling them memories. It's all right. I was just getting distracted. I thought someone was going to rob your board out there. They were just touching it. It's two kids just touching it.
Fine, they can use it. There's no waves. I know it's not going to get broken.
I wasn't distracted by the two women running around in bikinis at all.
To be fair, that is actually happening, and it's like 6 degrees outside. There's somebody filming something. There's people running about naked on the beach.
But a bit nuts.
So when you obviously you'd surfed in Cornwall, when you came up here, before you really got into it at home, did you know how big a surf scene there was in Scotland?
No, and there wasn't. Well, I don't, because I think at the time I'd just learned to drive, so was just going out on my own loads. Like, wasn't really like. I wouldn't really say there was obviously a scene here, but I was maybe just a bit too young to be like chatting to people just going out really on our own and surfing, and did that for a while, and was very much like fair weather surfers, like didn't really dedicate ourselves, like none of our pals really surfed, so it was just more of a solo mission.
Summertime.
Exactly. good enough excuses to not go when there's snow on the ground and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think over the last for me, over the last 3 years, definitely, or 4 years, tried to commit myself more to it and actually try. And you've been surfing quite good for a little bit longer than me. But yeah, that's just kind of how it ended up. But I think the surf scene in Scotland, well, you could probably talk a little bit more to the surf scene in Scotland.
Yeah, I think it's a cool scene. It's like quite small and tight knit, but everyone gets along, which is nice to an extent.
It's surprisingly, small is definitely the right word.
Yeah.
But for up here, I was surprised again when I got posted home to Scotland. I'd never surfed in Scotland before, so I thought my surfing days were done, and I was surprised how big, but overall small, the community is, if that makes any amount of sense.
I'm still stuck on you being posted home, like you went to Afghan and they went, I don't want him, we're posting him.
Send him back.
Yeah. Not surfing Afghan.
Post him home. Yeah. No, it's what I've seen of it so far, and the people I've spoke to through the podcast, it seems like Scotland's got a sort of surf scene where everyone, I think the smallness that you're saying is why everyone seems to know each other, and your mate who knows that person, and it's quite a close. I wouldn't say. I suppose there is still a separation in people. Some people want to surf St Andrews, some people want to surf Thurso, but there's a closeness there as well, which I don't know if that's just a Scottish thing in general.
I think you'll always have a mutual friend. If you meet somebody that surfs, you'll know somebody that they know. And I think just definitely over the winter, I think you get a bit more camaraderie when there's if it's a horrible day, howling winds and there's snow, you're going to chat to the person that you're going in with, because you're like, oh, this is
it's how you know you're dedicated.
Just for body warmth.
Yeah.
So then what did you start first? Did you start Slab first, or did you start working for Wave Project first?
So I started volunteering with Wave Project way before I started working for them. So when the kids come down to Wave Project, they get a mentor, so they get someone with them one-to-one the whole time. So I started volunteering doing that in about, I can't remember, 5 years ago maybe now, and I was in a bit of a loose end kind of with what I was doing in life at the time, and then went down to that and just loved it straight away. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's so much fun, for me personally, and it has an impact on the kids. So volunteered for a while, and then I lived in Sweden actually for a year, but I came back to start the Wave Project job here. So,
and what does the volunteering look like from the off? When you first got involved, what did that have you doing?
So you get paired up with a kid, and you get a little bit of background on the young person, and then you're really just there to support them. Every kid that comes down to the Wave Project is kind of there for different reasons.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on the kids' needs. And you're just there to support them, have fun, push them into waves, and kind of just be a positive role model.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think definitely at the time as well, it was good for me, because then it gives you a purpose as well, and it's the most fun you can have surfing without actually surfing yourself.
So I presume they all work the same, the Wave projects around the country, because you've got Cornwall, Scotland, Wales. I can't even name them all. They're everywhere now.
Yeah.
So if people want to get involved in it, how do they go about either volunteering, or if they want to send their kids, or they want to send people to it? How do they do that?
Yeah. So for volunteering, you just kind of find your local project. There's 15 projects around the UK now. Wow. So kind of Cornwall, the southeast, Northern Ireland. We've got 2 in Scotland. There's Tynemouth, Yorkshire as well. So find your local project and then just get in touch via the website, and then you get an induction, get a little bit of training, and then you come down to the beach and you get to have fun with the kids. And in terms of the kids that come down, the kids have to get referred by a professional organisation.
Okay, right.
So it's either their teacher or their GP or social services or support service. So they refer a young person. So it's targeted to young people that will need it. So you can't pay for your kids to attend the Wave Project.
See, I find that interesting in itself, because we've spoke at length, I think, quite a few times about surfing being prescribed as therapy, but when we've spoke about that, I've never actually known if that was true or just something I've heard. So actually, people are literally being prescribed.
Yeah, so there's a thing called social prescribing, which is a government kind of initiative where they can prescribe things such as surfing, but the program isn't that good, to be honest, the social prescribing program. But kids do get referred to the Wave Project by if they see a psychologist, by their psychologist or their GP or just their teacher at their school or any other professional that they work with. So it really, it's getting to the point where it's not there to replace like traditional therapy, but it works really well to go alongside it.
Oh, absolutely. That way of having people engaging with people, having a good time, and being connected to nature. I think you can't take away how far that actually goes.
Definitely.
You'll know better than me. Like seeing what these kids get back from it must be insane.
I think you sort of answered your own question on previous podcasts as well, though, because you've actually said like, you know, surfing. I was going to do the Sean Connery, but my Sean Connery offends everybody, not only Scottish people.
He's only been in Scotland for like an hour and a half.
He's not doing Sean Connery impressions.
I got a list of 13 things always to say to a Scottish person one day.
Yeah, he literally sent me a photo yesterday and he's already thrown 4 of them at me.
But
I answer my own question. Don't worry.
Oh,
St Andrews. You're not at home now.
No.
We're friendly up here.
If that was around my house, it'd be gone by now.
Well, not around your house.
Wheels on you. No wheels on your back. Yeah, but the amount of times you've been surfing and you say it's like therapy for you, like in tough times that you've had, and
it's a life reset.
Always go.
It's cliche, but it's true. Like, it's just a big reset button for me anyway.
So where I was actually going with that before I went right off on one, this is what happens when I get on a plane as well. I don't know where I am. Is you see that in the kids, like when the difference between either when they start the program and finish the program, or even each individual lesson, like, you know, you start and then you see them at the end.
Definitely, because they initially come down for a 6-week course, so they come once a week for 6 weeks.
Okay, so I was going to ask, they do get prescribed a time frame to do that?
Yeah, so they'll come down. It's here we do it after school, so they'll come down after school for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Once a week for 6 weeks, and then we really see like a massive change in them. It's quite amazing sometimes. Like they turn up and they're really anxious, they don't really want to do it.
Okay.
I think especially around here, like it's not like surfing's a done thing. A lot of the kids have never been in the sea, so it's like everything's new, and a lot of them may be struggling with anxiety themselves, so to come and do something like this is like a massive thing. But you see them get a little bit more confident each week, and kind of like the main things we're trying to build are like their confidence, their resilience, and their self-esteem.
Okay.
Because if you want to have good mental health, they're like the 3 really important things. You know, confidence in yourself, like self-esteem, belief in yourself that you can do something, and having resilience to deal with kind of things that happen in your life. All. You get that from surfing. You know, like surfing's hard. You fall off 95% of the time, and so you're kind of building those skills.
I'd say 99.
He was being polite there.
So if we can build their confidence, build their resilience, and build their self-esteem, they're like massive life skills that they can take and like use in the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And like I said, they all come down for different reasons, but if they're all getting those skills, they can then go and deal with the problems that they're facing in their lives. Like they're better equipped to deal with those problems.
You have got that thing of like, I know that sometimes it sounds cheesy, but there's so many like sort of metaphors that all like cross between, like, you know, your constant paddling, it's a constant struggle, and it's that thing of you see a lot of the time between surfing and in life in general of, you know, you're always being pushed back, you're always never where you quite want to be.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
My luck, I'm always in the fucking wrong spot and upside down. Go on.
In terms of like funding for Wave Project, obviously it's a charity.
Yeah.
So do each of the individual 15 outfits, we'll call it that, do they self-fund to then get kit and equipment, or do you use...
Each location's different. Up here, we work with the surf school around the corner, Blown Away, but we also have our own equipment as well, so we can do both. It just depends on the location, but each location will do its own fundraising.
Right.
But the Wave Project kind of HQ down in Newquay also like do fundraising, so we're supported by the head office, but we'll do our own fundraising as well.
Yeah.
But the money kind of... We'll fundraise for our own area, but then we'll be supported by HQ as well.
Because I guess, you know, so do you have an upper limit in how many people you can have at a time? Or?
It just depends on money, really. The more money we can get in, the more kids we can reach.
Because obviously that's a lot of kit to try and tailor to different sizes, shapes,
exactly,
etc.
So
yeah,
like any charity, it's the same money. At the end of the day, it comes down to how much money you have in the bank, and if you can get more money, you can reach more kids. Like, we'd love it so that, like, we can have, like, because last year we had 72 kids do the 6-week course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they can join our surf club. So after the 6 weeks, they join the surf club. And we run weekly surf club sessions, so they can keep coming down. So it's not just 6 weeks and then they're gone.
I did wonder that. Yeah, that's amazing. So they've got that, because especially if you've got your teeth into something and really taking something from it.
And then what happens when it comes to winter here? Does it carry on?
So we run right up until December. Like this year, we did Santa surf.
Yeah.
In like the hail and snow and.
Even Santa was like, "Fuck that!" It
was in that really like cold week that we got where it was snowing everywhere, and we kind of the forecast said like it's going to be -2, but it'll be light winds and sunny. I was like, "Oh, it's going to be beautiful."
Yeah.
There was like waves forecast as well. Got down to the beach and it was like sideways hailstones. Like I couldn't even get the boards off the roof. And I was just like, "Come on!" But the kids are way harder than like I think most people give them credit for. Like they were like right into it and they loved it. And then we have a break kind of up until April, but we'll do activities. Like I'm taking them climbing this afternoon, so just to kind of keep them engaged and stuff. But it's a bit cruel to put them in the sea in February.
Yeah, you've got to be pretty dedicated to want. What's the sort of age ranges you have within that?
So 8 to 18.
8 to 18.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And in terms of qualifications for yourself, so when you started out, I presume you don't have to be a surf coach to help.
No, you actually the majority of the volunteers around here anyway aren't actually surfers, which is quite cool. It's a really eclectic bunch. It's like firefighters, dog walkers, students,
wild swimmers.
Wild swimmers are the big one actually. They're
also known as swimmers.
But without the wetsuit,
if you're doing it with a shark or a lion, I'd say that's pretty wild.
Actually, lots of them turn up and they're like I'm in my 6mm boots, gloves, hood, and they turn up in like a 3mm wetsuit, and I'm like, "Do you want a thicker wetsuit?" They're like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'm fine." I'm like,
you were saying earlier about you went to go out and there was someone. What was it? The woman who was going swimming.
She was like coming out of the water and it was like February and I was like, "Oh, that must be painful." She went, "Son, I've had 6 kids. That was painful."
That's just brilliant.
But yeah, people like that, like they have kids, they know how to deal with kids that are struggling or they like getting a kid into a wetsuit is quite a skill, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, I presume you don't have kids.
No.
So I was going to say, going from, I don't know what your sort of background was, but suddenly working with kids who had some specific requirements or require a different type of, I don't know, engagement. Yeah. How did you find that? I don't want to call it transition, but that experience.
I worked as a support worker for a while for young people with autism, so I had a bit of experience with it before, but like at the Wave Project, everyone just acts as themselves. Like that's what I say to all the volunteers. Like, because sometimes they turn up and we do the training, they're a bit nervous themselves. I'm like, look, just be yourself. Like, because even if you've shown up and you've decided you want to help these people, like you're doing a good thing. So if you just be yourself and have fun with the kids, then you'll be fine. Like that's what we're there to give them. So
I think it's like it's crossover with this. Then same sort of thing. People often say to us, "Oh, I was really nervous at the start, but once we got into it, it's just like just like a chat conversation."
True,
it's that thing of just like being yourself, and once you get into it, it's just yourself.
That's just our way of not having to prepare questions. We're just justifying it to ourselves.
That's our business philosophy.
So switching between them as well. That's a good little segue. Switching between them. How did Slab come about, and when did that start?
Yeah, so I think it maybe started in 2020, and initially, like, we'd always wanted to start like a brand around surfing. Like when we grew up, we would kind of be skating or BMXing, and those kind of local brands, and like you'd go in, like there was a shop in Edinburgh called Paiute, and they had a shop and they had like skate videos on, and you chat to the guy, and always thought like that was so cool. And then when we were kind of looking at the surf brands, and especially like when you look at like America and like Hawaii, and you look at all the like the gear and it just doesn't really speak to surfing in Scotland. And although like the amazing high performance shortboards is like amazing to watch, like it doesn't really represent the surfing that we're doing.
So you just make like grey jumpers.
Yeah.
They come wet.
Yeah. Everyone's looking like really like slick, and everyone's doing big cutbacks, and you're just like paddling out on a day like today when it's like 1 foot on a big 9 foot foamy just so you could catch something. So we just felt that it didn't really, those brands didn't really talk to us. And although like down in Devon and Cornwall's got like an amazing scene, and there's like loads of brands and loads of surf infrastructure, we kind of just like thought, well, like let's just try and do it and see what happens. And didn't really have any plans. I think the first plan was figuring out how to make a logo, which was hand drawn, and we were like, yeah, that'll do. Which has basically remained the same ever since.
It's not that easy to, because I done the same when I try to create my own Scottish Surfer Media logo, and thinking
I'll
just draw it. Vectorize it like I knew what that meant. Like I don't know how.
I don't know what that means.
I've got it on paper. I'll just take a photo of it, and that's it. That's what
pretty much.
The same.
I think the first batch of t-shirts we got, we put the wrong logo on it, and we were just like, right, we really need to learn how to do this properly.
But that one came just from this one. I don't know. It's came from just like scribbling on a magazine. So like the letters were like block letters, and we were just like scribbling around it.
And that's very much been our business philosophy since then. Is don't really take it too seriously. And and I think like that story of when we started it was just like we saw like, I think also an idea of like a lot of like Vans or Billabong, like say like you spend like £25 or £28 on a t-shirt that's like made in the factory, though our t-shirts are made in factories as well, but it's like you spend that money and then it goes to a big corporation that's owned by someone. And we really like the idea of kind of like starting something that gives a little bit of money back to something. So the Wave Project, and then building products that are built to last. So all our stuff is kind of organic cotton, embroidered in Scotland. We just thought like maybe that's something that people would be interested in, and maybe like instead of buying a Vans t-shirt, buy a Slab t-shirt. And I think like part of it as well is just chatting about surfing. And I suppose like for me and Rue, like although we've kind of always lived, like although when we grew up together, obviously when we were kids, but then like we kind of moved around different cities, so it's quite a nice opportunity to make us have to talk to each other every day. Even though
what you're actually trying to say is you don't like your brother not to talk to him normally, so you've had to put something there that makes you talk to each other.
How do you find though like that brotherly love trying to run a business as well? Because there's no like in between, is there? Like it's just maybe an aggressive no, not doing it. Like how do you find that relationship?
We actually get on pretty well, so
on a business front.
On a business.
I think it's helpful as well. Like maybe if you started a business with like a friend, you're maybe a little bit nervous about having the hard conversations or telling them that they're wrong. So it's a lot easier when it's your brother, because you know he can't disown you.
I'm older, I'm right. That's literally it.
But the only annoying thing is because Rue surfs a bit more than me because he's a bit more flexible, is just when you have a business decision, need to talk about a logo or something, and I now have to get him on Find My Friends. When I see that he's at the car park at Dunbar, I'm like, right, you're not ignoring me because you don't like me, you're ignoring me because you've been in the water for 6 hours. So that also helps.
And you said you give
part
back.
of the philosophy. It's like always, it's like going surfing's always like a good way to spend your time.
It's got to take first priority, hasn't it?
You think in any surf brand culture that would be the thing, and I know a lot of places are like that, and I think quite right, to the point where obviously you want to get stuff done. And I suppose that's the fortunate thing about living here, is that we don't have surf every day, so I suppose you have to have time to do stuff. If not, you're wasting it.
And I think that book, like when we were thinking about it, that book Let My People Go Surfing, the guy who started Patagonia, was like, right, this is how you should want to start a brand, like, or a business. And like it's called that because if the swell's good, like shipping's going to take 3 more days because people aren't in the office, they're out surfing. And I think we did that, we were like, oh, that would be amazing if we could do that. So
you said as a business you give back to Wave Project. Would you give back?
So we give 10% of all of our profits to the Wave Project.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we did that, and now it's quite funny because now I work for the Wave Project.
So basically, you're using that business to fund your
I know.
You're washing money through the Wave Project.
Because Slab came first, and then it was like when Rue got the job, we're like, "Is this a conflict of interest now?"
I had a conflict of interest the other day. So I went down surfing in Cornwall, and the guy who won my board in the raffle we did ages ago, he was down there, and I was like, look, I'm going to come down in my car, can I borrow a board? He's like, borrow your old board. I was like, that's going to look dodgy as.
Yeah.
He said, it's all right, it's fine, you can paddle out, no one will recognise you out there. Got into the water, someone went, all right, Pete. Shit, straight away, conflict of interest.
Was it the big red longboard?
Yeah, it was the big red and black one.
It's like pretty recognisable board. If you saw some of that board, you'd be like, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
It's funny. Who was it that won that?
Paz.
It's Paz, wasn't it? Because I went, what giveaway were we running? We ran another giveaway. I can't remember what it was, but Paz messaged me saying, I want to enter, but on the off chance I win, would it look dodgy if I won that as well as the board? I was like, it would.
That was something you were doing.
That was something I was doing. Yeah, I was like, no, you can't, mate. So what was the chances? But imagine it happening.
We have that Wave Project quite a lot because we do quite a lot of raffles and we get really good prizes. I'm like, God, one year we had like an uni pizza oven. Have you seen these before?
Oh man, I totally want a pizza oven.
I was like, I really want to win that. I was like, I really want to win it if I'm running the raffle.
The problem is, I think we've spoken about this before. I could get an amazing pizza oven, but I'd still be putting like a little mini Chicago town in it. So it'd be a waste of a pizza oven.
Chicago town.
Buying that's the easy bit. Making the dough, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly.
They've gone downhill lately though. Chicago towns, when they go in the oven, they keep sticking to the pans now. And it's a different podcast. That's my food podcast.
We've got a whole podcast dedicated to Chicago towns. So you boys must have had some pretty big moments through Wave Project for sure. Must some highlight moments recently. I'm assuming. I don't know.
We had Kelly.
Oh, Kelly Jones.
We're on
First name basis now.
Stereophonics. Wait, you didn't drop the mic there.
But he said Kelly like he's his actual mate, and there's might be a chance now that he is.
He's not been returning my calls, unfortunately.
Nor ours.
But yeah, Kelly Slater came to one of our sessions, which was cool. He plays a golf competition in St Andrews.
Which he won.
Did he win it?
He won, yeah.
Did he?
We had this conversation. We kind of get the impression with
he's
Kelly.
not going to do anything unless he's going to win, is
he?
If
he's not got a chance of winning, he's not playing. That is the impression we got.
Mind games in golf. I wonder how that
works. But yeah, it was unreal. Like, totally surreal. It was all actually organised in like less than a day. It was like really last minute. But we just kind of put a session on. They were like, do you have a session running? I was like, we can have one if he's coming. Right,
kids getting woken up in their bed like, go to the beach now.
And we were lucky, actually. There was like a nice wave on the beach and it was sunny. So
there was that day, because that was the reason why.
That's what,
I maybe shot on the show a little bit that day. So I came here because I was going to go try and touch base with Kelly, like everyone done. Like all our mates around here, Swanee and that, they done the walk with Kelly around the golf course. And I came here to go and do that to see if he wanted to come on the show. And I parked here where we are now at East Sands, and it was 3 foot and clean. And I was like, I'm just going to go surfing still. And I genuinely did.
To be fair, mate, I would have done the same thing probably.
So surfing's about.
Well, I was like, get a slab hat on Kelly Slater right now. I'm sure every brand in the world has tried to do that, but maybe. Not seen him post it yet, but still holding out hope.
But he was so good. He was like, we really wanted to get him in the water, because I was like, if I get Kelly on a foamy and catch a party wave with him, like, I'll die happy. He was he said he was injured from surfing Chopu, and I was like, same.
Whatever, you've not done my sands of you, Kelly.
As excuses go, that's very good.
But he was really good. He kind of like, he got involved with the kids. Like, there's like a clip when like we're doing like the kind of brief that we always do, like going through the pop-up, and he's going and he's helping like one of the wee girls with her pop-up, and then he's like chatting to the kids, and it was really good. And then like they brought a whole film crew down that came for like an hour, then the film crew left and he stayed for another hour and was just like chatting. And I think he realizes that like him just showing up and being there is like massive.
Huge,
massive for us as a charity. And
also got you good points with head office.
Exactly,
good bragging rights at the next company meetup.
Sorry, where are you based? Cornwall. Oh, has Kelly been there? No, sorry, just to me.
It was amazing. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I mean, but what a gesture though, even like you say, just to come over and, like you say, the support that comes with that. He probably doesn't even realise how big that is. Yeah. I'm sure he knows, but
it's funny because like most of the kids don't know who he is, because most of them have just got into surfing like through the Wave project and mainly in the past year or two. So to say like, oh, Kelly Slater, like they don't follow the World Surf League or anything. Sure. So like,
was there any of them that did know who he was and lost it?
None of them like were fans of him, which I think kind of maybe quite refreshing for him as well, because there were just loads of kids being like, who's this guy? Like I was like freaking out.
Play it cool, Roo.
No.
Hello, Mr. Slater, sir.
Hello. There's a video. It's like quite embarrassing. It's like he's talking and I'm literally just looking at him like this. Like
I've seen the photo. I know what you mean. Hello, darkness, smile. Staring into your eyes.
And loads of people messaging me being like, "Oh, I wish you looked at me the way you look at Kelly."
That's the one I've seen.
Amazing.
But I think that's actually might have been quite refreshing for him. Like, just to.
And if these kids then like fall in love with surfing and like kind of go more regularly, it's going to be amazing. Them looking back and being like, I met
10
Kelly
years
Slater.
when you realise who Kelly Slater is, when he's probably still on the CT in 10 years' time.
They'll walk past like a Quicksilver shop with like him getting bowed, be like, I think I've met him before.
The guy that I paid
all
no
who makes me
attention
going,
to.
no, you haven't. Nonsense.
I surfed with him at West Sands and St Andrews. People were like, no way.
But what I liked, I only saw it from a Wave Project Scotland perspective, was that you just didn't go all out and milk every second of it. Like, it would have been quite easy, I think, to, social media.
To be fair, if that was us, we'd still be posting pictures about it now.
Oh, I'm still banging on about Ben Gravy. But you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a limit and a point where you have to be like, right, that's done and past.
Yeah.
Nice to do a memory post and that sort of stuff, but not every day. People are like, right, you've done that, and I think it was nice that you didn't go down that line.
I pretty much all I saw of it was like the day it happened, and then that was it. That's all I really saw of it, which is a good way to do it. And that happened. Just keep banging on about the same things forever and ever. People get bored.
And our good friend Sam Howard, he was down.
Was
he doing photos? Or was he in film?
He was doing photos. Yeah, he actually his car broke down on the way, so he was meant to be there at the start. His car broke down, and then Tito found him by the side of the road and drove him down. So he
just picked him up, left his car, and came down.
Left his car in a lay-by and came and took photos.
Just burning the car, like.
So, like normal people, if they knew Kelly was there, they'd go and
not go for a surf. But surfing's always going to come first.
Well, I've already established I'd probably do the same thing. So
that's fine.
Yeah,
but some people as well. I think with Kelly, we would rather have Kelly on in person than as a, it would be great to do a online thing, but it's just somebody you'd rather have in person, I think.
If I was going to chat to Kelly Slater, I'd rather chat to him away from like beach or anything like that, sat in somewhere that away from everything, just so, and like all of our chats are just fucking random nonsense of where it's going.
That was my other thing.
It'll probably be I've never been asked those questions.
That was what I was going to ask you. How did you find the conversation? Because I do wonder, like, because we chat surfing from an everyday surfer's perspective, like not from a Strider Wasilewski perspective, and we're able to charge these Chopu waves and stuff. So how did you find that?
We actually didn't chat. We mainly chatted about like surf therapy.
Okay.
We didn't actually chat about like surfing and the CT, and I mean, he's got so many accomplishments and achievements. He was actually really switched on. He knew loads about surf therapy. He's done stuff with he's done stuff with veterans before, and his brother runs a like surf therapy program for autistic kids.
Oh, right, okay.
I think in wherever he's based. So he was really knowledgeable and like really switched on. So I was quite surprised actually
cool.
that he knew so much about it. And
it goes back to that. He's only going to talk about it if he's going to win it. Winning at therapy as well.
But he was like, because you sometimes have that fear when you're going to meet like your hero. You're like,
for sure. Yeah.
What if they're a dick? And then like your whole like.
Wait. Right, okay. So for everyone, Pete just pointed at me, but that's suggesting you're saying I'm your hero.
Yeah, no.
That was quite sweet.
Yeah, I said you were my hero, but in fact you're a dick.
I'll still take it. The initial compliment was there.
But he was really nice, really friendly. So
it's really good.
he gave people gave people his time, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he won the golf.
Yeah.
So it was a win-win for everyone, wasn't it?
So what's the future hold for Wave Project, and what's the future hold for Slab as well?
For Wave Project, really just like, because we started this St Andrews project in 2021, so like a year and a half. So we're kind of 2022 was like our kind of first full year, and then so just trying to grow, bring in more money so that we can give it to more young people in the area.
Yeah.
And then when the Wave Garden opens up, we'll be starting a project in there as well, which will be really cool. So hopefully just if we can bring in more money, we can like open more projects around the country and just help more kids, really, because I think especially now, like with young people, like mental health, like for young people, it's like a bit of a crisis at the moment. So
yeah, definitely.
Like waiting lists if you want to go see CAMS, which is Child and Adult Mental Health Services, the waiting lists are really long. When you get help, sometimes it doesn't work. So just trying to like respond to that crisis as much as we can.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's the beauty as well of these Wave Gardens that are opening up, is that that we've spoke about it. It's not just a facility to go surf. There's a facility there for high level surfers to refine. Yeah. And then there's like these sort of charity things, like you said, that safe environment, safe place, guaranteed waves to take people. Actually, like you say, you could turn up and you don't know what's actually going to happen on the beach. Is it too windy? Is it too cold? Can we actually run the session? So I think that's another amazing plus of these facilities.
And like, there's a big off button.
Yeah.
Which is like can give people things, like a massive like boost in self-confidence, where you can be like, look, if you don't feel okay, we can just turn it off. And I think that can be, because I think we've discussed at a Wave Project loads, like the difference between it, because like half the time we'll do a session and there's no waves on the beach, but you make your own fun and you're out in nature. But at the Wave Garden, that'll be a bit different because it's like a facility, but you have consistent waves. So the benefits will just be slightly different, really. So
I was thinking of the off button on a completely different way, of everything that is put in place now to help kids and people with their mental health and get better. Involves them getting away from screens and phones and everything like that, and back to like.
Oh, nice! That was deep.
It does, doesn't it?
Done there, but you're right.
It's literally like everything they're putting in place now is stuff we did growing up.
No,
just like that's what you did, and now there's so much depression and anxiety and everything, and it's because people just walk around like. I think I saw something the other day in Australia. They've put lights on the floor so people can see where the road. So it goes red or green by a road. So they can see when to stop, because most of them are walking looking down at their phone.
If we're having to think that far ahead for people, I think we're ready. I remember my boy years ago, he was like, I don't know, playing Minecraft or something, and he was like, Dad, I've just discovered cow tipping on Minecraft, when you push sleeping cows over, which is the funniest thing ever.
You could do that in real life if you want.
That's exactly what I said. The reason I paused there is because I'm looking at Pete and I feel like Pete's never heard of that before.
No, I've heard of cow.
Yeah, it's like, you can actually go and do that. Like, you don't have to do it on a game. That's a great thing to do in real life. Not that I'm advocating for any farmers listening.
That's what I was looking at you for.
Well, I remember I think it was like when the Apple Watch came out, and they were like, there was this guy like getting like barreled, and then his phone starts ringing on his wrist, and I'm like, the people that wrote that ad have never been surfing. You don't want like your boss calling you while you're getting like absolutely barreled. Like,
have you seen I've done loads of Teams bloody meetings and interviews the last couple of weeks, and it just got me thinking, because some of the interviewees have had like, when you put the fake backdrop on, they've had like crazy locations and stuff. But I've seen one was a snowboarder and he had like a laptop set up on his chest, and it looks like he's in some office somewhere, but because the screen can't always keep up with what's actually going on. So this guy's like a Red Bull snowboarder, so he's doing like backflips and reverses and all sorts. So there'll be times where suddenly you see a snowy mountain and him upside down. Then I saw one the other day, and it was a guy in a UFC ring, and he's just getting back. You just turn around again and see a fist coming in on the screen. That's what we need to be doing. We're taking a tangent here. I don't even know what we're talking about. So you've got data recording here. You will now have done some stuff which I can overlay on, but with Wave Project, you're doing some stuff with Sebastian from the Surf Skate Academy.
Yeah, just like I said, we do some winter activities with the kids, so we're going to take them surf skating, which will be really cool.
Oh, awesome.
Seb's obviously really clued up and knows his stuff with surf skating, so that'll be cool. Just kind of something different for them, something put them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, totally. It's nice to tie back into surfing as well. It keeps it relevant.
Definitely keeps them engaged and yeah, for sure.
And in regards to Slab,
I think like we're still very small, like still very much trying to find our feet, and it's very much like both have day jobs, so have to find time to do it. And so the overall goal would obviously be so that we could do it full time, but I think overall it's just like getting more involved in the surf community. I think we would love it if we could kind of build a surf team and get some groms and kind of like support the like Scottish surfers, and whether it be with like kit or I don't know, helping them get to competitions, and just kind of
we've done that like at some of the Grom comps, like we've given them prizes like to give out and stuff.
Okay, so right, yeah.
We'd love to like be able to be making more money, that we can do that stuff more regularly, and like sponsor some local kids, and also like maybe sponsor just some like average surfers.
Okay.
Because that's what we always say, like we're average surfers, and the majority of the surf world. Average surfers.
Beyond we're having this over 95%, at least probably higher. Like, not many people are charging Chopu and Nazare if you put it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
most people surf like us.
Yeah, because we were talking about someone was laughing at. It was like proper like chargers laughing at like some average surfers or something like that. I was thinking, well, you're in the minority of being like...
Yeah, they're like the 1%.
Nobody can relate to you. I mean, it's sexy, don't get me wrong. But
I'm not funny, but if you don't want to listen to this podcast, if you're in that 1%, you're in the minority. Just everyone else out there is just an average or a little bit above average or a little bit below average surfer.
And you know what? Just while we're there, I went for a haircut yesterday, right? And... place I'd never been before.
Doesn't look like it.
And I was just chatting to the girl, just cutting my hair and mentioned surfing. I mentioned we were filming all this week. And she was like, I used to live in the Channel Islands for like 6-7 years or whatever. I was like, cool, and chatting about surfing. Like she's not a surfer, but she was hanging with this crew that were all surfers and stuff. And she was like, yeah, but these guys, they're like proper surfers because they surf in board shorts. I'm like, well, that doesn't make you a proper. Surfing in board shorts, that's the dream, because it's nice and warm, it's cozy. Like, this makes you hardcore, surfing freezing cold. But then she was like, she said, what did she say? She said, yeah, but they would be surfing like 14-foot waves and like laughing at people wearing helmets in the surf. I'm like, well, and normally I would let stuff like that go. I'm like, I don't know this person. I don't need to engage, regardless whether I think they're right or wrong. But I was like, no, I'm not having that. I was like, that's just childish. Like, why would you laugh at somebody wearing a helmet? That's the same as laughing at somebody wearing a helmet on a bike in the street. I thought, well, it's not really. It's a risk to life sport. Like, what's wrong with these guys? Like, go around, 'cause you're obviously pretty good surfers. Doesn't mean other people aren't.
And I find as well, like, I get a bit bored of surf films if they're just high performance, like up and down surfing. Like, it looks cool, but I feel like so much of surfing is also like the bits around surfing, like chatting in the car park, like running over to the spot to check it out, like trying to get over the A1 to see if the spot's firing and not get hit by a car load.
Asking who's got the key for the disabled toilet in the group.
Like, what was it, like, just for Christmas, like, watching two of his pals try and hammer a key lock open with a rock because they completely locked shut, and like with the salt water, and it was just like, how do we open this with only like bare tools like that we can find around us? And I think all that like is what makes it fun. Like, I'd love it if I was like a total shredder, but like realistically, going out like a day we had here at East Sands, like me and my girlfriend were out, and it was like 3 foot, but there was just a fun little like logging crew calling each other into waves, like cheering each other on.
That's real surfing, though, isn't it? Like that matey vibe.
Versus like when we were in Morocco, although the waves were class, like proper like having to do competitive surfing, like trying to not like, if someone snakes you, like trying to like figure all the lineup out. Like, whereas like a 3 foot day here was just like, right, you got the last one, so I get this one. Just pretty simple, like
for sure
lineup politics.
Yeah, like when you travel and surf, it does make you appreciate like surfing back home a little bit, even though you'll travel and you'll surf better waves. Like, you don't get to have that session just with a few friends,
definitely,
like on a nice wave in a beautiful location with nobody else on the beach. Like,
it comes back to something you said earlier about kit and equipment for the place you surf, and you're talking about the skating stuff.
Yeah,
and I think that's the same for boards. People are always like, well, I need to buy a 5'6" board because that makes me a proper surfer with like 22 litres of volume. You surf a sloppy, weak wave. Like you need to buy the equipment or have equipment that matches that. We don't surf in Barrett's. Why would you need a board with no volume? And no
I went out the other day and it was really average, so just took the fins off my foamy and had like a finless foamy surf.
Much fun.
And it was like the most fun surf I'd had for like the last 2 weeks because it was just like I just fell over 90% of the time, but
I just couldn't
That's
get
like me
it. I was
surfing
trying
with
that.
fins.
I think especially living on the East Coast, like you deal with such variable conditions that you gotta have the right craft to ride it. Like we do get really good shortboard days, but a lot of the time we get like really good longboard days as well. So you might as well enjoy it like what you're surfing.
Yeah. So on that then, what's the best wave you've ever surfed?
In Scotland, or
go in Scotland or in.
Well, it's a Scotland edition. Let's start Scotland, and then we can go expand.
If it's
best
obviously,
if it's bleepable, I can bleep it.
I mean, I've surfed at Thurso East and stuff, but honestly, I had some of my best sessions at like Belhaven Bay in Dunbar, mainly because it's quite an overlooked beach. People kind of drive past it. It's quite a difficult one to check, but. Had some sessions there just with like one or two friends where it's just perfect, lovely waves. And I think that's like my favourite surf sessions that you can have, like really nice waves, nobody else around apart from your friends. Like that's a perfect surf session.
And it's like a long beach with like multiple different peaks. So like I think we had one session, like finished work in summer, went out, and it was like glassy, like no wind, sun setting. Could have been Uluwatu. Like you couldn't even really see the waves because they were so glassy, so you couldn't really see them coming, and then they just kind of like popped up. And even though they were like, not big, but just I find that those sessions almost like more like the scenario you're in versus the waves. Done a session at Coldium, got there before sunrise, paddled out only like one in the water at sunrise, just surfing on my own. Was just like, man, this is as good as it gets. And when we were in Ireland, it's funny. It's something that's actually stuck with me. We were went to this, on like a remote part of the West Coast, and just like stumbled across this spot that was absolutely firing. And there was a guy in the lineup, and he was kind of like, we had no idea like how old he was in the lineup, but he was kind of chatting to us, and he's like, "Come on, lads! I'm 64. I've had enough waves. Like, get at the peak." And then, like, we were chatting to him in the car park, and we're like, "Oh, you've got an Aussie accent." He's like, "Yeah, like, grew up in Ireland, went over to Australia for like 30 years, but just got the waves were just too crowded, so just moved back to like remote west coast of Ireland and just to surf there every day." I'm like, you take that for granted. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, if I lived in Australia or I lived in California, I could surf every day, be consistent, but then you wouldn't get those. You'd rarely get a day when there's not like 100 people
balance
in the water.
Isn't there? And I think you nailed it before about, people will say here, oh, it's getting crowded, it's getting so busy, but actually when you put it into perspective, if you've seen what, and I know it is, it's relevant, isn't it, to where you are, but it's nowhere near as busy. Like if you obviously Fistro in the summer, for when we were down in October, man, it looked like Boardmasters was on when you were down as well. Actually, weren't you? We all bumped into each other. Then you just had you surfed a night surf the night before, didn't you? When we randomly drove past you.
We surfed the harbour wall at like 2 a.m.
It was just a crazy moonlight as well.
Yeah, and they have like lights along the wall as well, so you couldn't. You actually had a lot of light. You couldn't really see the wave coming in, but the kind of lights on the wall were kind of shining on the face of the wave.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you've surfed that harbour wall wave, like it just breaks off the wall. So if you just sit with your hand on the wall.
I love that.
Our mum wasn't very happy when you posted the photo in the family WhatsApp group where you're just like, just surfed at night at 2 a.m. Mum was just like, fuck's sake.
I think you've answered that question a bit different to that's one of our sort of set questions about, best spots you've surfed. And it's normally about kind of the wave. You just spoke about it more generalistically. Not even a word. I don't know, but
about your experience.
About the experience. And actually that's so important, isn't it? I think it goes with surfing, is that experience, having it. Like I surfed up here after when we came back from Newquay. I surfed West Sands myself.
That's the best surf you'd had in 3 weeks.
Remember, it was solid every day. It was massive down in Newquay, but it was all closeouts. So I was just hanging on and then getting smashed. But I came up here, We all surfed here at East, and it was a bit of a longboard wave. I went round to West Sands. It was head high, clean and punchy.
Yeah.
And I caught, it was the best waves I'd had for ages, but there was nobody there, so I was paddling back out. And
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
one of those surfs, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's the best
it didn't
wave
happen.
I've ever had,
It didn't happen. But
Yeah.
there's no one there to share it with.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's a bit bittersweet, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And you always want someone like catch eye contact when you get a
did
good
you
one
see that
paddling out. Like,
Yeah.
see that one?
What do you mean? All you done was went left. Nothing happened.
Yeah, it felt amazing. Though.
And what about worldwide? Best wave or...
Actually, like we were in Ireland that trip, and it's pretty well known, so I don't think anyone's going to shout at me. But at Iski, there's like the left and the right, and surfed there, and it was like we were staying in Roos Van, and yeah, like just like rocked up the night before at the spot and literally couldn't see it, so just like woke up and
I nearly drove into the sea.
Yeah, you were just like, I think I'll just reverse down the slip road. I'm like, you do realize at the end of the slip road there's the ocean. But it was like such a nice little reef, and like I think the right was quite popular, the left was a little bit quieter, and yeah, just
we did 3 sessions that day.
Yeah,
that was
so morning, came out, had some lunch, went back in, came back out. We're like, should we drive to another spot? We're like, why? And it just worked all day. And
this is like perfect left.
Never leave a spot for a spot.
And you could also like jump off like the pier and paddle around, so it was like a dry hair paddle out as well. I was like, this is ticking all the boxes.
Even better. And then often we always ask as well, what's your worst wipeout?
Or worst experience in the surf?
Worst experience.
I think one of the toughest wipeouts, we were in Morocco like, when was that, in November, and there's Anchor Point, and like paddled out, but it was like a little bit heavy, like it was absolutely massive, and then trying to get back in, basically like I was like, I either go and try and get onto the rocks and just time it perfectly, but previously, because I don't know how big were the waves, maybe like
double overhead,
and I was like, watch the guy get washed over them. I was going to jump out over the rocks, and there was a guy who like maybe didn't look as experienced, and I was like, oh, is this where you jump off? And he's like, I don't know, and then watched him just get washed over the whole rocks. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go this way. But yeah, just got caught inside where these like double overhead, and it was like waist high water, and I was just having to like literally just go down and grab hold of the sand as I got. As soon as I got my head up, I just saw Rue on the beach laughing at me. Just like,
because I managed to get in without like. I timed it quite well. And I turned around and there was just like, just a double overhead closeout straight onto like a shallow sandbank, and then just like James's head. And I was like, you literally couldn't be in a worse place right there.
Just took like 5 on the head and eventually managed to get back in. But yeah, wrong
funny.
place, wrong time.
I think them sort of days we often overlook probably the harder bit, and it's that, you know, if the paddle out's tricky, hard, tough, and you're worried about getting battered, unless you're lucky enough to finish on an actual wave, like the paddle back in when you know I'm either going to charge it and hopefully get past the break, or I'm getting that's so much worse coming back in.
I think that's the fun bit about like finding or surfing a new spot though. Like you have to work out like your entry, your exit, like how the spot works. Like I think that's part of the fun, and definitely surfing around here. Like you can still kind of find spots. Not new spots, but spots that will only work on certain swells. So it's like you can still like discover a spot and go and have to work it all out.
Yeah, right.
There's also nothing like that feeling of paddling out and then absolutely shitting yourself that it's too big and you've got to somehow get back in.
Damn it, I don't know if I want to be here now that I've made it.
I wonder how long till the waves die off I can stay out here for. But well, I know you've got to go and do a lesson or something.
We're going rock climbing.
Rock climbing.
Yeah.
So if you want to tell everybody out there where you can be found online, where to get in contact with the Wave Project, where to find Slab, and
Wave Project, you can just Google the Wave Project, and you can, if you want to get involved, just click get involved on the website, and then Slab,
slabsurf.co.uk. Our Instagram's _Slab Surf, and one thing as well that we like to do is like just chat to average surfers in the Scottish community and write a few blogs and just chat to them about surfing, and kind of what we were talking about, like the bits around surfing and and our perspective of it. So some fun blogs as well to read and shirts. And clothes
I've read some of the blogs on there. Yeah, some good ones. Yeah.
Buy a jumper as well if you want. That'd be quite good.
If you want to support Wave Project, basically, if you don't buy a jumper, you're against Wave Project.
If you want to keep ruining a job.
What I also like is the fact that I think you've opened with. We set up a business so we could force ourselves to talk to each other as brothers. But all of your stories, when we mentioned, questions were aimed individually about worst experiences and stuff, but they were all like brotherly conversations. So, there's obviously more brotherly love than you realise. Yeah.
What was the best wave you ever caught was actually, it wasn't, it was his wipeout. And I was it was amazing. Just seeing his feet go up in the air 15 times.
Than watching somebody wipe out and you're nice and safe.
Especially if it's a family member.
It's that smug feeling of I've made it out and he's still back there.
Just get over the top of the wave and you see your mate getting.
That's you and me in Cornwall, isn't it? I seen him and he looked over at me and I was like, I know what you're looking for. I'm still here, mate. About 3 waves later, I was like, gone.
Yeah. Well, Rue's got a good technique. He drops in on me, but then obviously doesn't look at me, even though he knows I'm there. So I just go, you just fucking snaked me. And he goes, I didn't see you. And then I'm like, yeah, because you knew I was on it and you didn't look. But
you can't snake when it's family.
You can't snake when it's family or friends, and you can't snake if you didn't see them.
Yeah,
exactly. You've got to make eye contact.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Stevie Wonder's never snaked anyone.
Well, there's a way to end. Oh, thanks very much, boys.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Pleasure. Oh, thanks for that, boys. And what an insightful
conversation.
Why did I struggle there?
I don't know. I've no idea why you struggled there. Yeah, that was straight off the plane, straight to a interview, wasn't it? Within within an hour.
Not technically true, is it? Because
is it not?
Technically, it was straight off the plane and straight to St Andrews to film that. However, when Pete landed, because this was the first day of filming for the Scotland mini-series, Pete landed and was pretty adamant that we were stopping at McDonald's.
I'm sure this was the other way round.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't because I had breakfast. You wanted to stop at McDonald's to find out if it was the same as a McDonald's is in England, which of course it is.
It's not. It tastes different. There's more muck in it. There's definitely more muck in it. Yeah. But yeah, no, as we say, that was the first one we recorded and, straight off the plane, straight into it. And it was good fun. That was good lads, Slab Surf and the Wave Project, 2 great things. On the Slab Surf side of it, it's like they said, you go on there, there's t-shirts, hoodies, hats, everything like that. And their blog is really good little blog of stuff that's going on in Scotland. So if you're up in around that area, or you want to know what's going on around that area, their blog is really, there's loads of different people, different interviews, all sorts of things on there.
Yeah, totally. And what I like about it is that it's a genuine, humble brand. Like they are surfers, cold water surfers, the hardcore of the hardcore. Just the horrendous conditions that we get up here. Not trying to be professional surfers, just people that love surfing, and this brand is kind of fallen out of their passion for it. So I think that's really cool. And what I like the way, to be clear, they're not related, but they still, for me, the correlation between Wave Project Scotland and Rue specifically, and that pathway, like I love the fact that Rue started off as a volunteer, and now he's actually a paid employee of Wave Project, which is fantastic. And I feel like it just sort of shows a progression, and it's not just you'll do, you can have a job, but actually it's the people in the right places doing the right things, which I always find in charity employment to be a very important thing, because I feel like some charities maybe get a bit lost in the fame, because some charities get really big really quick, and I think we've spoken about this in the past. And to make sure the right people are in the right places, I think from a charity perspective and the outside looking in, it's really important.
And he's also best mates with Kelly Slater.
Best mates with Kelly Slater. Well, he keeps going around telling people that he met Kelly. I was like, man, you need to be like, Kelly was here to meet me.
Yeah, that's it.
The other way around. What I like as well is, as you would have heard, we spoke about in the episode how I thought it was really nice that not only Wave Project but Rue, they didn't make a point of just constantly sharing, like oversharing the photos and the videos from Kelly working or helping them out that day.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. But in the last 2 to 3 weeks, that's changed a lot, and I've noticed a lot more pictures.
Which, to be fair, I would do that.
I would totally do the same.
I would have done it from the start, and you would have just got bombarded. This is me and Kelly eating breakfast. This is me and Kelly going down the park.
Do you know what I liked as well? I love the fact that, brotherly love, I guess, and they're all sort of like trying to one-upmanship each other, one-up-personship each other. But every time we asked a story or asked a question that related to a story, best, worst, wipeout and whatever, like Rue's best was always when it was James's worst.
Yeah.
It was always
and vice versa.
Best, my best was when he got smashed.
Yeah.
My worst was when he done really well. Like, I find that really funny.
Yeah. No, that was the best part of it. Like, you can tell that they've got that. Obviously never having a brother, I wouldn't know, but like that sort of thing that you have with like your best mate sort of thing of like, it's really funny when they hurt themselves or when something goes wrong for them. You just find it hilarious.
Yeah, totally. It's just that inside connection, isn't it? You
Yeah,
can't buy.
and also while we're on the Wave project at the moment, during the Monday, I think it's Monday the 15th of May to the 21st of May, there is a campaign going on for the Wave project, and I think this is across all Wave projects, I think, although it's been sent to me by Wave Project Bristol, and it's the big give. It's called Kind to Mind, and the donations are from that week. Everything that's donated, they're going to match the donations up to, I think it is
20 grand.
Yeah, I think it's up to about 20 grand.
20 grand, yeah.
So, I mean, if like people can donate up to 20 grand that week, they'll match 20 grand for the Wave project. We'll put the link underneath this video and we will put it on our website as well. So if you head over there and you can make a donation in that week from the 15th of May to the 21st of May, they will match your donations.
And don't underestimate that money. That money goes a long way. And I was fortunate enough to go and film, as we discussed. I was filming with Wave Project Scotland and the Surfskate Academy.
Yeah.
So Rue and the team, and in fact, no, I'm lying, Rue wasn't there that day, but the team from the Dunbar side, Rue runs the St Andrews side.
Yeah.
Had the kids out. They don't surf through the winter because it's crazy cold. It's far too cold to put kids in the water. And so they've been doing surf skating, and that was the first session they'd done. And I went out and filmed all that, done a few interviews. And in fact, I'll be releasing that the week after this episode comes out. So a week on Sunday.
Yeah.
That'll be on our channels as well. But to see what them kids were getting back, from surf skating and the crossover, because there's a lot of hate. I don't know why there's a lot of hate about surf skates for some reason. And, I guess it's personal preference, but I have seen a progression using surf skates because I'm able to train technique. So even if you're not using it for that and just using it for fun, just stop hating on everyone else. Just do you. Just do you.
Just do you.
These kids had a fantastic time on surf skates, and it was nice to share that and have part of that experience. And also, big shout out to Seba and what he gives back, because he just knows his target audience really well. And stop saying army words, target audience. Like he's about to strike them.
But, stop talking about the army. You're not in there. Get over it. Get out of it. Get over it.
Yeah. Well, I'm fully coronated today. I had a surf on my doorstep. That's how I marked it.
Well, yeah, it's that day, isn't it?
It's that day,
yeah. Charlie don't surf and all that.
Mitch surfed.
Yeah, Mitch surfed.
Howling cold water out there, man. Do you know what, as well?
Do you know what's more important than your surf today?
Nothing.
Yeah. We might have another FCS competition.
Well, there's no might about it. We have another FCS competition. We've got multiple competitions.
But this one's a proper competition with FCS as well.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. Do you know why it's a proper one?
No. Before you divulge that information, just a massive shout to our previous winner. I can't wait for you to get them fins and let us know how you get on with them.
They should have them by now. I know Brad's posted them out, and
Perfect.
Perfect. Congratulations.
Right, so the next giveaway. So it's going to be once again announced about a month after this episode is released.
Yep.
Okay. And this time FCS have kindly very kindly provided a set of Skin Dog signature fins, and they're part of the FCS Shaper series. Now, I should point out here, because I've looked into this, and I didn't realise, but Skinner is the first ever British shaper to have a signature fin with FCS.
Yeah.
And it took him over 3 years to develop the set. I don't know, I'm not a fin shaper per se.
Is this a set of fins or is it a longboard fin?
No, it's a set of fins. It's a longboard fin with
two side bites.
Is that what you call it? Two side bites. 2 bits on the side.
Yeah.
All right. And they're in air core construction, and they're the lightest 2+1 setup available. They work really well in almost any performance longboard or mid-length on the market. So if you're a longboarder or you're on a longboard, I assume that's exciting. I mean, I'm not a longboarder, but I'm going to say that's exciting.
You're not a longboardist, as you normally tell me.
I'm not a longboardist.
No.
These might have been the fins that I should have used in the comp that time. I would have taken that 3rd place up to a 2nd, potentially.
Yeah, you should have. But I have seen the fins, and when we went to see Brad, I was trying to blag some off him, but he was having none of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But no, they are. Yeah, they look really nice. They do look like nice fins, to be honest. And yeah. So, how's the competition? How are we going to do this competition?
Okay. So, I mean, just for clarity for everyone, we want our content goes out on YouTube, and that's where we want to drive traffic. Okay. So, if you want to be with a chance of winning this, it's likely you're already following Instagram. If you're not, like and follow on Instagram. Okay. But we need you to follow on YouTube. Leave a comment on the YouTube teaser video, which will be released. Doesn't matter what that comment is, okay? But from the Instagram story, which is where you'll find the link to YouTube, you just need to reshare the story, which will also be posted on our Instagram page, okay? So reshare the giveaway to your Instagram story, okay? And just comment on YouTube.
Yeah. So, yeah, make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube, because that's what we want as well. YouTube subscribers, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And as we said, in a month, so it'll be 2 episodes after this one's out. If you're listening to this, is when we will announce, or we'll close the giveaway down, and we'll announce it a few days later, as per the last one. And then we'll do the details of the next giveaway, which is turbo exciting, a week or so after that.
Yeah. Are you
going to? You don't even know what it is, actually, do you? You don't even know what it is. I'm not telling you.
I do know what it is, because you told me, because it was going to be this one, but it wasn't. So we weren't sure which one it was, and you told me, but I completely forgot, because I think once again they might be shortboardist fins.
Yo, I mean, again, a huge shout to Brad from Surf Hardware UK and FCS for supporting us and being able to do these giveaways. As somebody may have noticed in the last one, I on the giveaway the wrong name of.
I don't think anybody noticed that, mate. Honestly,
nobody picked up on it. So I said the wrong name of the event where Chianca had won. He hadn't even competed at that one by accident. And my excitement in the moment.
You said Rio instead of Mio, didn't you, or something?
Rio instead of Mio, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just all about the trying to give back where we can. So let's just focus on the things that matter. Nice giveaways for nice people.
Yeah, nice people only in this one, please.
Yeah. But no, it was amazing. So again, massive thanks for the support. Massive thanks for those of you who got involved, and let's get involved again. See what
so get involved in this one. Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment on the teaser video. For the teaser video, we mean will be the video that says about the competition. That'll be on the shorts, and that will go on there. Leave a comment on that, and you'll be in a chance of winning the Skin Dog fins from FCS.
To reshare the story on Instagram.
We'll do 2 separate ones, I think, and we'll tell you that on Instagram what to do as well again. And I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else happened in your life?
I mean, I've surfed the last 2 days on my doorstep, which has been banging. It's been howling on shore, but
nothing's happened. Nothing good. No.
It's a surf show. Because you've not surfed, you never get to surf. That's on you.
I don't want to talk about it, mate. I don't want to talk about it at all. My surf has been non-existent for a very long time.
Oh, mate. Well, you need to come up here. I surf every day.
Well, last time I came up, there was no surf up there until we went miles up the country.
That's true. Tomorrow morning, I'm looking forward. It's actually looking perfect, and I'm going to have this entire 2-mile long beach to myself.
Nice.
Which is so often the case. But do you know what? As well, so I was in Newquay a couple of weeks ago and was surfing the hot waters of Newquay.
Yeah.
Gloveless, hoodless, and all that stuff.
Hoodless, bootless, gloveless.
I went from my first surf a couple of days ago at Pease, which was also known as, what was it? The Old Kent Road.
Yeah.
That episode's not out yet, is it? So
No.
that won't make sense. Look forward to that one. That's a banger. But I thought, it's probably warm enough now to ditch my gloves up here. Instant regret. Oh my God, mate. It was a really sunny day, right? And it was that my hands.
It's that false sense of security where it's you think, it's quite warm out. The water's going to be warm.
Oh yeah, but I thought it's cold hands when you get in, but sometimes after 10 minutes you forget about it and you just sort of acclimatize, if you like. But nope. An hour and a half and my hands were like blue. And when I got out, I walked up the beach, right? And let's say the sun was properly out. And the second the sun hit my hands and they felt a bit of warmth, I just had pins and needles in both hands, needles and pins. And I was like, oh my God, there's definitely gloves, boots, hoods still up here. I know. Well, you love when I said that, don't you?
Yeah. It's just the way you say it. It's just the accent and everything. Yeah. So, So we will see you next time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down here at the bottom of the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And like, comment, all that other stuff. Do the other stuff that we do. Buy me coffee, all that. Enjoy your life. Jerry Springer died, rip, gutted. So that's, my, take care of yourselves and each other that I stole off him. So, whatever it is. Spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch, whichever way. And that's it, I think.
Enjoy my surf tomorrow.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye.
Thanks to sponsors of this show, Srface, that's Srface. Head over to Surface Wetsuits and you will get 10% off anything you order by using the discount code UK Surf Show 23.
And if you want to get 50% off the annual edition of the Adrenaline Athlete Training Program, which is a strength and conditioning program designed specifically with surfing in mind, and this is a home program or a gym version of the program. I have used the program for the last year and I swear by it. If you want to use the home edition, on the Adrenaline Athlete website, use the discount code SURFHOME50, and if you want to use the gym edition, it is SURFGYM50, and that is 50% off the annual membership.